All right, good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order, the meeting of the Carver Select Board for Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. Select Board meetings are broadcast live and are also recorded by Area 58 Community Access Media Channel 9 and will be posted by Area 58 on YouTube as soon as possible. There are openings on several committees. Please refer to the front page on our website for a listing and application. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Carter, if you could read our community prayer.
Almighty God, humbly we pray your blessing as we concern our life with the opportunity to serve our community. Enhance us with your spirit of dignity and selflessness. May we become instruments of support and understanding as we seek to bring an environment of trust and purpose among all who provide the many services that make us all that we can become. Help us achieve the goals of our commitment in this office that is now our responsibility. And especially, we lift our prayers for all the citizens of our community that we have been allowed to serve, that they may discover the fullness and joy of life that we all seek, and keep those serving in our armed forces and our first responders in our hearts and thoughts. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Carter. All right, the first item on our agenda, as always, is citizens' participation. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the board? Sure. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just give us a name and address for the record.
Elizabeth Stewart, 49 Main Street. I am the Carver Old Home Day president. In July 2026, we'll be celebrating two significant milestones: the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the 125th anniversary of Carver Old Home Day, which will take place on July 25th, 2026. This long-standing tradition began in 1901 and has continued for over a century thanks to small groups of dedicated volunteers who donate countless hours each year to organize an event that is open to all. In addition to our annual traditions, including the 5-mile road race, horseshoe tournament, car show and cruise, craft fair, live music, bicycle and dog parade, and old-fashioned clam bake, we are pleased to offer some special events this year for the 125th. Friday, July 24th, from 6 to 8, we're going to offer music in the park. A local favorite Bad Decisions band will be playing, and we'll have food trucks. On Saturday, we'll have all of the activities as usual, but we're also hoping to be able to provide fireworks and an American flag display. And then on Sunday, the 26th, at 10 in the morning to noon, we're going to offer like a memory lane at the Sons of Veterans, featuring Carver Old Home Day and town memorabilia, books, pictures, things for the public, and just invite people to join us for coffee and conversation. So during the 100th Carver Old Home Day celebration, the association requested and received $10,000 through the Select Board to assist the cost of fireworks. Although the cost of fireworks has more than doubled over the past 25 years, and there are other expenses, including police details and providing bathrooms for everyone, we respectfully requested the same amount and will raise the remaining funds through sponsorship from our generous local businesses. The Carver Old Home Day Association is a nonprofit organization created solely to provide this annual event for the town, and then also provide scholarships funds for Carver residents. We are an all-volunteer group, and we sincerely thank you for your continued support as we work on the 125th Carver Old Home Day. It should truly be a memorable celebration for our community, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to address the board? All right, seeing none, we will move right along. I have a statement to read relative to the Select Board engaging the Office of the State Auditor to investigate the Gateway Health Group. The Town of Carver is a member of the Gateway Health Group for the purposes of providing health insurance to our employees. That group includes Old Rochester School District and the Town of Lakeville as well. In December, the members of the group were informed by our consultant, NFP, that the Gateway Health Group was facing a deficit, possibly as high as $7 million for this year, even though we weren't even halfway through the year. Carver's share of this deficit, over and above what we were told to budget for healthcare, could be as high as $4 million. The deficit not only places a major burden on the communities in Gateway, it jeopardizes the healthcare coverage for our employees that they receive right now. Our budget was based on recommendations from NFP, our consultant, and we cannot reconcile NFP's advice with the catastrophic situation we now face. We will be taking immediate action to fund the deficit at town meeting to make sure our employees continue to receive access to medical care. However, we, along with the other member communities, have grave concerns regarding the management of the Gateway Health Group. The members of the Gateway Group paid NFP to provide competent professional advice to the group, but at this point, it is clear that NFP has completely failed to do so. Our budget was based on recommendations from our consultant, NFP, and we cannot reconcile NFP's advice with the catastrophic situation we now face. We are working hard to secure coverage for the next fiscal year from a more reliable source. We are considering all options, including possible litigation against NFP at this time, and are seeking a comprehensive audit of that fund. The board has also voted to request that the state auditor, Diana DiZoglio, initiate an investigation and audit of the Gateway Health Group. Our health insurance is funded through millions of dollars of taxpayer funds and employer contributions. We all need answers as to how this occurred. We hope that the state auditor will be able to help fully investigate this matter and get to the bottom of what caused this crisis. Thank you. All right. Moving right along. Next, we have the appointment of Special Police Officer Mark Dufely. Chief Rayner?
I thought he was
Welcome.
retired.
So I'm requesting that the Honorable Select Board appoint retired Chief Mark Dufely as a Special Police Officer for the town of Carver. I could go over all his accomplishments, but I believe the board is quite aware of them after the last few weeks. So in the interest of time, I would just like to say he's post-certified, he meets all departmental requirements, and I'm pleased to recommend him for the position.
All right. Other questions from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mark who?
Discussion?
Mark who?
Can we get some references?
Anything else?
20 plaques he can get.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next is discussion and possible vote for the hiring of Carver's next Deputy Police Chief, Brian Berrio. Chief?
Yeah. I am also here tonight to ask for the board's support in continuing to move the department forward in a positive direction. The appointment of a Deputy Chief of Police is essential to our operations. This position ensures oversight of daily activities in my absence, conducts internal affairs investigations, and provides leadership to both the detective and patrol divisions. As we transition from the prior administration, establishing this role at the outset is crucial to maintaining stability and effectiveness. After careful consideration during my time transitioning to the role of chief, I have determined that Detective Sergeant Brian Berrialt is the strongest candidate to serve as Deputy Chief. Sergeant Berrialt has 22 years of experience in roles from patrol officer, detective, task force officer, sergeant, and his current role as detective sergeant. He holds a master's degree in criminal justice from Anna Maria College, and he recently ranked second in the Chief Assessment Center exam. His background complements mine well, and he shares my vision for the department's future. Together, we will continue building strong community relationships through engagement and respect. We're going to mentor the next generation of talent for the leaders of the department. We're going to continue the modernization efforts of the last administration, which have strengthened this place. Therefore, I respectfully recommend the Honorable Select Board appoint Brian Berrialt as Deputy Chief of Police, pending successful contract negotiation.
Thank you. Sergeant Berrio, is there anything you'd like to say to the board?
I would be honored to.
Why don't you just come up if you could? Just so the folks at home can hear you.
Sure. I would be honored to move forward with the department, move things forward like Chief Ringo was saying. We just had that extensive interview process. I'm happy the way it played out. I think that we, as a team, and we're all moving forward, and I think that we should be able to structure our department in a way that makes our sergeants and patrolmen come together and move forward and be there for the community as well. That's our main goal.
Thank you. Other questions from the board?
I make a motion that we hire Brian Berrio as our new and next deputy police chief.
Second.
Subject to successful contract.
Successful contract.
Always.
Yeah. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you both. All right.
Room's going to tilt, though.
Let me just get caught up on the agenda here. Okay. Moving right along, we have two agricultural appointment commissions, two agricultural commission appointments, Joshua Stockton and Loretta Stockton. Mr. Stockton, come on up.
My name's Joshua Stockton.
Hang on, just wait till you get to the... Is Loretta here as well?
She is not. We have 6 kids. We couldn't do 2 at the 6 o'clock. But she can appear separately if needed.
Okay. Well, you just want to tell us a little bit about why you are interested in this appointment?
We're interested in joining the Ag Board because we're going to take over the Carver Farmers Market from Mr. Nash, who's looking to retire. He's been doing this for many, many years, as you probably know. We've been here in Carver for 13 years, and we raise alpacas. We've been here for raising alpacas for 10 years. We run lots of farmers markets. We attend over 150 farmers markets a year. We both served on many boards outside of city boards. I've been on national alpaca boards, regional alpaca boards, so I'm quite familiar with the process, and I think I can help get some new blood into the Ag Commission and help them move along.
Okay, great. Thank you. Other questions from the board? If not, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Joshua Stockton and Loretta Stockton to the Agricultural Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you for stepping
you.
up. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you to you both.
Does he have to be sworn in? Do we have to let him know?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Matt.
You will get a letter from the town clerk, both you and Loretta, and then you can come down and get sworn in, okay?
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, we have the continuation of a public hearing for 3 Sips Brewing Company, LLC. We have 3 items we'll be voting on tonight. We have discussion and possible vote on an alcohol beverage license. We have the discussion and possible vote on a common victualler license, and a discussion and a possible vote on an entertainment license, all for 3 Sips Brewing Company, LLC.
How are you?
Welcome back. If you could just introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Daniel Mull, owner of 3 Sips.
All right, great, thank you. As I recall, the last time we discussed this, the issue at hand was the fence. Mr. Cannon, do you have an update for us on the fence? I don't see the building inspector here.
I do not. We are checking to see. He was here, scheduled to be here tonight. I don't know why he's not here.
Okay.
But the fence continues to be what I deem as a snow fence. It's 1 inch, I believe they're 1 inch slats or wood slats held together with wire, and then they are reinforced with metal poles. The last time we were, well, I shouldn't say the last time, I think the time before, the real discussions
There's a building inspector.
debated around whether or not it should be a stockade fence or a continuation of this snow fence.
Mr. Palmer, if you
Yeah, why
come right up and join us, Mr. Palmer. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Perfect timing. We were just discussing the issue of the fence. If you have an update for us or a recommendation as far as the fence goes.
So I did go there today, and I walked around and looked at the fence and looked at the gate, and I know there's been some discussion in the past about what the intent of the fence is, and from what I gather, based on our last conversation, I think the purpose of the fence is to sort of protect those children that are inside the fenced area. And I kind of I'm sort of viewing this parallel to maybe a barrier or a fence that we might see typically around an in-ground pool. You know, we require nationally that there be a 4-foot fence around an in-ground pool, and it's typically to save children 8 years old and younger from going in a pool and drowning. And I think what we're doing here is we're not really worried about children that are 14 or 15. We're worried about smaller children, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old children from just wandering off. So my thought was today when I was out there was perhaps we should have a fence or a barrier to be similar or parallel to what's we would see around a pool. And so my recommendation would be that we have a 4-foot fence, something that's structurally sound, something that's intended to be a barrier for children.
Of course.
And I don't necessarily think that a snow fence is that. You know, a barrier that is recognized nationally to protect children from going in an in-ground pool is a 4-foot fence. It can be a picket fence, it could be a stockade fence, it could be a chain link fence. But there are requirements on its height and the distance between and its structural integrity. So that would be my recommendation, that we put something up that we would put up to protect folks from an in-ground pool. I think what we're trying to do is achieve the same thing.
And I agree with that. I think that's always been, I know my concern is a child wandering into the road. And certainly I think, you know, the applicant could consult with you and you could come up with an appropriate fence that you feel comfortable with. I want to turn it over to the rest of the board to get their thoughts. Ms. Ewens?
Yes, I agree. I'm glad to hear that it doesn't have to be a stockade per se. It could be a picket fence or a wire hurricane fence or whatever. But I really think this has gone on quite long enough, and we need some protection down there for the children. I mean, that's what it's all about. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Mr. Cannon, when do the current licenses expire?
They expire on March 17th.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, why don't we just make sure I want to find out where all the members of the board are. Mr. Hoffman, do you have?
No, I agree with what's...
Okay. Mr. Ryan?
I just wanted to ask the owner if there are any plans to make any changes, or is it just staying the same status quo?
No, absolutely. I'm not trying to fight anyone on this. We want safety, 100%. I have 3 little children myself. We thought maybe that, you know, we're aware it is a snow fence, but we thought that we made it into a, you know, a safer barrier with what we did. I mean, it has kept children safe, but we, if we can agree to put up a 4-foot picket fence, that would be great, because I would still love for people driving by to be able to see in, and so I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be done by today. I tried emailing multiple people the past week. I didn't hear anything.
So, Mr. Palmer, so just so we're all on the same page here, so a picket fence would comply with your requirements, correct?
So if we're going to require that this be parallel to that of a barrier that we would utilize or see typically around an in-ground pool, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but a picket fence is okay, provided that it is 4 feet high and the spacing is no greater than 1 3/4 inch between each picket, and that it be structurally sound in such that, you know, if somebody leans up against it or pushes it, it's not going to fall apart. So it can be a chain link, it can be a picket fence, it can be a stockade fence, but there are some design requirements for that type of barrier to be utilized to protect an in-ground pool. So if we were to use something parallel to that, I think what we would be doing is achieving what you're looking for, a barrier to protect children from getting out.
Okay. Mr. Palmer, in your experience working with these type of things, what would you say would be a reasonable amount of time to expect this type of fence to be installed? Could it be installed in, say, a month, or do we need more time than that?
I think that's probably a question for the applicant, because, I mean, the fence could be done in a day
Yeah.
by a fence company. So I think it's really up to the applicant with,
A month would be,
Yeah, well, I'm just looking, right now you have licenses that are expiring tonight. Okay, so if the board felt they wanted to do something like this, we have, our next scheduled meeting is the night of town meeting. I don't think that's a good night to discuss this. Our next meeting after that would be April 21st. Certainly, I wouldn't think, I would feel comfortable extending it past that. We have children that could be outside down there, so,
Well, I don't understand why it has to wait that long, actually.
well, because we have to, he has licenses. Would you like to, his license expire tonight?
So we have to
No,
extend
I
the
mean, I
license.
don't understand why it would take that long to put the fence in.
Oh, I don't think it would either. I'm looking at a date where we could, if we have a motion, unless we want
Next time
to
we
shut
can
the
meet.
business down, we have to make a motion to extend the licenses to a certain date. And that's what I'm looking at. So I'm
So it
thinking
can be done on or before the 21st.
on or before, but we would have something on our agenda on the 21st. And I would just say, I would want a letter in our packet from the building inspector prior to us even putting on the agenda to
Correct.
say that, hey, this has been done, I've inspected it,
Yep.
it fits with the guidelines that we discussed. I think this has gone far too long.
Yeah, yeah, really.
And has-
and I never meant to, keep pushing and pushing, and it's just we're a new business, we're getting on our feet.
Yeah, okay.
Everything's a cost, so
I
appreciate you
understand,
working
I
with
just
us.
think we need to
But
sort of have
we can definitely have it done in
a
the next couple
definite
weeks.
end date here, and I just want to, yes, Mr. Carter?
Just got a question with, I'm seeing these new photos. So it looks like, I'm not sure what side it is, but it looks like a big stockade fence came down through the storm. So.
Oh, the one, yeah, that's an
so-
existing fence we
so I
tried
go-
to,
What is the responsibility of the owner of the property? Have you talked to him at all? Because really it's,
he puts it all on us.
okay. So is your intent to, I mean, can that, the stockade fence, whatever that is, can it be just nailed back up again?
That will
put
be
back
fixed,
together?
yeah, that will be
So we're
fixed.
really just talking about the picket fence going around the front and to the side?
Yes.
Well, the picket fence would have to go around whatever area, it would have to, so nobody could go around it, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
the
it would have
entire
to-
outside area.
Yeah, the entire enclosure would have to be fenced. Mr. Palmer, in your experience, would there need to be, I don't know, a gate or something, just to
yeah.
get out of that area?
I
if
would
there was an
recommend
issue?
that it be a self-latching gate.
Okay.
So when you open that gate, it closes and latches by itself.
Okay, all right. So,
I have a question for Mr. Palmer.
Yes.
Mr. Palmer, could you just repeat, the 1¼ inch spacing is for what on the fence?
So if we're going to recognize the design standards of a barrier for an in-ground pool, depending on what type of barrier you're going to utilize, whether it be a chain link fence, a wrought iron type fence, a picket fence, so with each individual, with each type of fence, there are design standards. So I'm not sure what type of fence Dan proposes to use. It could be a chain link, it could be a picket, it could be, I'm not sure, stockade, I have no idea. So depending on what he decides to use, then we can have a conversation about the design standard for it.
But you said a picket fence required 1¼
So, yeah,
inch.
so when you have a picket fence, the spacing between them can't be greater than 1¼ inch.
I'm sorry,
And the
between
reason for-
what?
What?
Between what?
Between the vertical
Okay.
fencing pieces.
Great, okay, thank you.
And the reason for that is so that children can't get their feet in to
Right.
step on the bottom horizontal member and then the top horizontal member to get
Excellent.
over it. So that's the reason for it.
Great,
So,
I wanted the applicant to hear that as well.
okay.
so we don't have any ambiguity here, or go back and forth, my recommendation would be, if there was some type of motion, that the motion should just be a suitable fence that complies with the requirements of the building inspector. And that way, the applicant, the building inspector can go back and forth, they can make sure that everything works before it comes back to us, and we go on.
Sounds
Is there-
good.
is there any further discussion? So, I'm just thinking, Mr. Mr. Cannon, if we have a meeting on the 21st, and the board was willing to extend these licenses to the 21st, would you say by, say, April 15th, we should have something from Mr. Palmer saying the fence is installed and
Yes, I think that's appropriate.
suits? And
Yeah.
would, Mr. Palmer, do you think that's reasonable?
That'll be fine. I'll be on vacation April 16th. I haven't told you yet, but I'll be on vacation from April 16th to April 22nd. So I won't be around during that time
So
frame.
Okay.
the 15th would work even better.
Yes.
And again, it could be installed 2 weeks before that. We just
Yes.
that's the deadline date.
Yes.
The deadline date would be April.
And we'll have a letter from Mr. Palmer saying it meets his,
Yes, it meets all standards and it's good to go.
okay.
Does that work for the applicant as well?
We can
15th?
we can do it, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we move forward, are there any members of the public that want to speak to this? Okay, I don't see anybody. So is there a motion from the board?
So you would like the motion to extend the license, but
Well,
pending,
If we want to, I mean, the applicant's license expired today, so if we don't
Yes.
expend his licenses,
right.
he has expired licenses, so.
So I guess I'll make the motion that we provide a temporary, and let me read these through because we have to do 3 of them, so.
I think we should probably have 3 different
Yeah, I'm
motions.
going to do
so-
one at a time.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion on the alcohol beverage license for 3 Sips Brewing Company to issue a temporary license till April 21st, 2026. Contingent, well, it's going to expire anyhow, so the contingency really is in order to extend the license. Beyond that, it's going to be whether we have a, inspection done by the building inspector that says there's a suitable fence there.
I would say
So
all
does that-
3 motions should have that
Okay.
contingency in there.
All right, so contingent that on renewal of the license, that there's that we have a notification from the building inspector that the fence that's been installed is suitable for the site.
Second.
That sound like it works?
Yes.
Okay. So works for everybody?
So I have a question. So
Yes.
instead of issuing a temporary license, are we extending the temporary license? Because it hasn't really,
Yeah.
Don't we have to sign a new one?
Okay.
Okay. This one
Just-
doesn't expire, so,
or expires, so it's still valid till midnight.
yes.
I just don't know, are we extending it, or are we going to
I
just?
think we're issuing a new license that we're all
Okay.
going to have to
Just
sign.
wanted to make sure we crossed every T and
That-
dot every I.
Work legally? Okay.
And just through you, Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
just got a notification that the center mic isn't working. They can't hear anything the gentleman's saying.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Okay. Oh. It is? We are. Well, maybe it's just the location. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have a motion. I'm sorry, do we have a second? Do we have a-
Second.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you.
okay, so the second motion will be to issue a temporary common victualler license to expire on April 21st, 2026, also subject to renewal, that we have a certified or something, what do you want to say? Are you going to provide a document to us that,
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to
all right,
furnish you with a document just stating that it's in compliance
Okay.
or meets the standards.
provided that we have a document from the building inspector that the fence has been inspected and is suitable for the site?
Second?
All right, motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, so the next vote would be on the issuing a temporary entertainment license to 3 Sips Brewing Company LLC, temporary license through April 21st, 2026, also subject to a inspected fence that's suitable for the site from the building inspector.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Mr. Palmer, Mr. Maul, anything else before we close this public hearing?
No?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you so, we appreciate your help,
Thank you
both of
very
you on
much.
this. Is there a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. All right, moving right along. We have a discussion and possible vote on warrant article review for the April 7th, 2026 special town meeting warrant. Article 1 is a supplemental appropriation for fiscal year 2026 for the emergency medical services. Mr. Cannon.
Sure. On this one, it's pretty straightforward. This is the emergency medical services. What they've actually done, they have more runs this year, this FY '26, than they had anticipated. That results in an overage in their budget of approximately $60,000. These are, our employees going out and making the runs, getting paid for it. They do plan on covering this. Every ambulance run, there's also a charge. So this would be covered with ambulance receipts.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to put Article 1 on the warrant?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Is there a motion to recommend Article 1?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Article 2 is the supplemental appropriation for fiscal year 2026 for the North Carver Water District. And again, we've discussed this earlier. This is a $250,000 from free cash to cover unforeseen expenses for the remainder of fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Mr. Cannon.
With this one, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Praval. She's had more conversations with the chairman of the North Carver Water District than I have.
Before we go forward, Ms. Praval, has the Finance Committee taken a vote on this article?
Yes, they did.
And what was the vote?
I believe the vote was 3-1.
3-1. Okay.
It's on the document, yeah.
All right, thank you. Ms. Praval, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So, through you, Mr. Chair, on March 3rd, we had a presentation, joint meeting with the North Carver Water District and the Select Board, and I presented projections for FY26 and what I felt was going to be the shortfall. I also had a meeting with the North Carver Water District. This was due to two contracts that they have that were initiated by a mandate from the DEP. One was the TAT and Howard Engineering Services, a contract for $109,000 plus the distribution officer, which is up to $124,000. With those two contracts in FY26, I felt that at the time, from what they've currently expensed and what I'm projecting them expensing from now until June, they would be short, and recommended that they speak to the Select Board, which they did on March 3rd, to request additional money for FY26. So I'm requesting that this article be approved for $250,000 to cover the North Carver Water District through FY26.
Okay. Is there a motion to put Article 2 on the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
I have a question.
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry, you have a motion on putting it on the warrant?
oh, I'm sorry, this is, no.
This is just to put it on the warrant.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Now, is there a motion to recommend Article 2?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and a second. I'm sorry. Now, Mr. Hawk.
So the funds are being used for the water operator and the engineer? Is that
So
correct?
there's several funds, there's several expenses within
Okay.
this budget, so we are still paying for water service bills. We're also paying the distribution operator, and Tata Howard, the engineering firm, they do it depends on what work they're working on, but also includes telephone expenses, includes the electrical, it includes the monthly expenses that we currently have, and just based off of what they've spent. We also have money that we pay within this budget for their debt service, so there's $231,000, but the majority it is coming from the other professional services plus the additional just monthly fees that we have.
So I'm not sure if you or Mr. Cannon know, the engineering cost, does that include an analysis of the North Carver Water District to see what it would take to get that up and running?
To the best of my knowledge, it does not include an analysis of the North Carver Water District 2.
Okay, so a question I have is, should this amount be increased to include an evaluation or include an engineering service? Because we're going to have to get that done one way or the other.
Before we do that, I prefer to be able to have control over that contract. Part of the problem here being is that we don't have control over these contracts, and that limits our ability to control the budget, honestly. So, right now, again, the North Carver Water District is spending money on distribution system operator, and then the engineering firm, which I believe there are other alternatives and more cost-efficient alternatives to doing that. So I'd be cautious about handing over more funding to the district.
Okay, I mean, my only concern is it's gonna have to get done, if it does dissolve, we're gonna inherit this. So, you know, one of the things I know that the North Carver Water District had brought up was, we're gonna inherit the budget. I just wanna make sure that we do have money to get this study done, because that's first and foremost the most important thing. I think we've all agreed on that several times. But I just wanna make sure we're set for that.
But again, I want to make sure I understand this article. This is not future funding, correct? This is for money,
funding.
it's being appropriated for money, contracts he's already done.
Correct.
Through the rest of this
Right.
year.
And, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, the reason we don't have control yet is because the legislature has not approved our request to
Correct.
dissolve the water district. But once that's done, then we could appropriate money to do our own study, et cetera.
We could appropriate money to do our own study. If there is still money in the engineering contract, we could approach the engineering firm about a change of scope also. So there are alternatives here. But again, once we have control and the authority to negotiate with the engineer, we don't have the authority to negotiate with them.
And I had one more for Ms. Preval.
Yes.
Ms. Preval, so the North Carver Water District does not have the money to pay this bill themselves?
No, so at the end of the fiscal year, I see a shortfall.
Okay.
And so I wanted to make sure there was money in the funds so that when we get to the end of the year, I could finish paying the bills, because if we didn't have the money in the funds, then we'd have to go to special town meeting to request additional funds. So I thought, since we're going to town meeting, it'd probably be easier and more efficient to do it now. Oh, I can also note that, you know, as I'm looking at, we'll say Tat and Tat engineering firm doesn't have as much work to do. Any funds that we appropriate for North Carver Water District will stay with North Carver Water District as retained earnings at the end of the fiscal year. So if there's a project that they're not able to move forward with, that they mentioned, then that money will stay in the fund. And so as we go into the next budget season, as we have our free cash and retained earnings certified, there could be additional funds available if they don't spend everything based off of projections. But from what I'm seeing, it looks like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Mr. Carter?
Just so I understand correctly, the 250 pays for work that's currently being done now that may or may not be in the original budget, but also will pay for work that it's only 4 months left, that hasn't started yet, but still he wants to get done before the end of the year?
So the only projects, so we have the 2 contracts, plus we have we have the distribution operator, excuse me. We have just your regular monthly bills that you have to pay, and he had some meters replacements that was part of that. If that doesn't get done,
Then we get it.
then that money's going to sit within North Carver Water District's retained earnings.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, the real concern here, Mr. Carter, so there are these contracts where the work has been completed. There is also the bill coming from the Middleborough Water Department for quarters 3 and 4, which we haven't seen yet. So again, if this doesn't get approved, the real impact to me would be that we wouldn't have the funds to pay Middleborough for the 3rd and 4th quarter, which are critical for the residents here.
Just one quick question, Ms. Preval. You just mentioned some of the projects he had going on, and one of them you mentioned were meters.
Yes.
Am I wrong? Didn't we have a previous discussion in this
Capital.
board that the meters are really a capital request, and that should go to capital outlay?
We did.
That is my belief, that these are
Yes.
capital requests, that this is a capital request and it should go to capital outlay. And the chair has told me she invited the North Carver Water District to the last capital meeting. They did not attend.
And one other thing with the capital meters, within the Tat and Tat contract, they have a procurement. So we're paying them to do procurement on, for the meters. So we can't purchase any meters until they've gone through and done procurement for them. So there's a lot of things within the Tat and Tat engineering contract they should be providing to North Carver Water District in terms of milestones. So there's several milestones and documentation that they should be providing based on the contract of the work that they're currently doing. I mean, I don't have that, but that would be going through the North Carver Water District. But as Mr. Cannon was saying, that it's a combination of expenses, and the most important for me is water
Absolutely.
And making sure we have enough to pay for that when the bill usually comes in 2 or 3 months later. So we won't get that bill until later in the year.
Okay. Are there any other questions on this? Okay. Is there a motion? I think we already
There was
have a
a
motion to
motion in a
recommend in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. And finally, Article 3, this is a new one that I was not aware of until just a few hours ago. Payment in lieu of tax agreement. Mr. Cannon, would you like to speak to this?
So it did come in Friday before the deadline. This is for the special town meeting, and it came in from the Board of Assessors. For this one, I will turn it over to our principal assessor to give you an explanation.
All right, could you, just for the people at home, could you give a brief outline of what this article would contain? Because I don't really have a lot of information on this.
Again, I could have the principal
Okay,
assessor. She has
that's
more
fine.
information.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Olivia Verhagen. I'm the Director of Assessing, and this would be a pilot agreement, a payment in lieu of tax agreement for parcel 120 lot 5, map 120 lot 6-1. This would be a new solar with a co-located battery storage system. It's an agreement that I've been working on with the lawyer. It will be finalized by March 27th, so I don't have the agreement to give you. We're waiting on one last number from the developer, which is the battery equipment breakdown.
And Mr. Chairman, I did tell the principal assessor
Yep.
today, or was it today, that if the article wasn't completely ready, we don't have the signed agreement, that the board may choose not to put this on special town.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking for myself, we have some pretty recent experience with an article that wasn't quite fully ready, and we put it on the warrant anyway, and I don't know how comfortable I feel with that. Ms. Hewens?
Thank you. Could you tell us again what map and lot number, and could you locate that for us in the town? That just gives us where it is?
Yeah, it's map 120 lot 5, map 120 lot 6-1. It's off of Ward Street.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Carter?
Mr. Carter. So this is a prior solar farm that was approved maybe years ago, and now they're looking to add a battery energy storage system to it?
No,
Or is this a new solar field?
it's
or
new
is-
solar field.
A new solar field?
It's
Yeah,
new solar with battery storage.
Yeah, my thing on the finance committee, I don't vote for anything that, if we can't give town meeting all the information, all the numbers, I vote no.
And we don't have any, well, I guess let's, is there a motion to put Article 3 on the warrant?
I was going to ask a question. If we hold off, what's the harm in holding off? What would be the negative of not doing it at this special town meeting and waiting? Is there a negative impact to that?
We don't get the tax benefit.
Excuse me, there's, through you, Mr. Chair, there's no negative benefit. There's no negative benefit. If it's on the warrant and it's approved and we have the agreement, then that would be additional projections for pilot revenue going in FY '28.
So if we approve it, we get more revenue.
Okay.
That's what would be projected for FY '28.
Right.
So this isn't up, has this been built yet?
No.
All right, so it might, I mean,
Yeah, it could be 29, I don't
Yeah.
have that much information.
And if we
Just
didn't put it on this town meeting, we just put it on the next, whether it's a special town meeting or it's next April, we just put it on that town meeting.
That's correct.
I mean, I guess before we have too much discussion, is there a motion to put Article 3 on the warrant? Last call, is there a motion? All right, I don't hear a motion, so it fails.
All right. We'll go on the next one.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
one quick question. Could I ask you, is there a downside to not putting it on the warrant this year, right now?
It's just when it's fully complete, we can't put a pilot agreement into place until it's voted at a town meeting. So there'll be no revenue until it's voted at a town meeting.
No, that's what I thought.
But they really, when you say complete, they can't even start it, right? Because
No,
it
they
hasn't-
can start it.
I guess.
They can build it and start it, it's just not gonna be taxed as a pilot agreement.
So we don't get involved in, I guess I'm misremembering these agreements. Usually, typically, someone wants to do a solar field, it has to go to a town meeting, right?
Well, no, the pilot does. So, and again, the pilot is a benefit of both the applicant and the town. It's a guaranteed source of revenue. These solar fields, I would say their valuation is very variable, so that there are many arguments, and that there'll be sometimes they're contested.
Yeah.
So if we don't have a pilot, it can stretch out for a couple of years with abatements and everything, John. So we find it both beneficial for the town and to the applicant to have the pilot.
Sorry. So if it were ready for this town meeting and we made a vote, we could enter into a pilot agreement and start collecting revenue before next year. So if we weren't ready, we could always pull it at town meeting and just, say, okay, we've had it on the warrant, but we're not prepared, we're just gonna table the article or postpone the article.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% positive that it's completely built. We're waiting on confirmation from the developer. If it was there January 1st, 2026, and I have proof from the developer, we can include it for fiscal year 27. Because fiscal year 27 is real property as of January 1st, 2026.
But if we approved it at a fall town meeting, could the same thing happen?
Yes, it would be on the fiscal year 2027's actual taxes.
And it's likely, Mr. Cannon, that we will be having some type of fall town meeting to discuss the planning board's article.
Correct.
Yes. So we can hold off till then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I'll ask again, just to be sure, is there a motion to put Article 3 on the warrant?
I think we should put it on the warrant, so I'll make a motion.
All right, I'll second
We
it.
have a motion and a second. Okay?
So I have a question. So this has been permitted and it's starting to be built? Or it has been built? Do we know?
I don't know 100% what part of the building process.
But it's already
It's
been
in.
permitted, everything's been approved?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And so we don't know when it'll be up and running?
I'm waiting on confirmation from the developer right now. If
Okay.
if it was there and ready to go January 1st,
January 1st, 27?
2026.
Oh,
Whether it started January 1st, 2026?
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor of putting Article 3 on the warrant?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? No.
Okay.
2 to 3. So it's not on the warrant. Okay. Moving right along again. At our last meeting, we discussed the Chapter 61A land. We have a discussion and possible vote on Chapter 61A with intent to sell 7 proposed lots of undeveloped land for residential use located on Mayflower Road. 122-5-1, 122-5, 5-2-0, and 122-2 shows as Lot 2, Lot 3, Lot 4, Lot 5, Lot 6, Lot 7, and Lot 8. And also a discussion of possible vote, well, we'll get through this first. So at the last meeting, we discussed a possible funding for us as the Community Preservation Committee. Mr. Cannon, you have some information from them, correct?
Correct. We have been informed by the chairman of the Community Preservation Committee that they would not be ready for the annual town meeting. They do not have time. There is an advertising period, and then they have to hold a hearing, so those could not be completed before.
Okay. We also have recommendations that the Select Board not exercise the town's options to purchase the property listed from the Conservation Agent, from the Director of Assessing, and from the Planning Board Chair. So, that being said, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion not to exercise our option to purchase the property that is at Mayflower Road as listed in the agenda.
Is there a second to that motion? All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Wasn't there funding, Sarah, you'd mentioned something about a funding mechanism for 61A taxes that goes into some kind of account?
Conservation Trust.
Do we know
Fund.
what's in the account right now for the Conservation Trust?
Mr.
beg your
Cannon, you
pardon?
checked that, didn't you? It was
Mr. Duval, do
300.
we know, I want to say there's between $200,000 and $300,000. And this is I want to say it was 1.1 million.
Yeah, it's over
Yeah, I thought it was like
$1 million.
160 a lot, 8, 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, something like that.
Yeah, and
It's
again,
very
the Planning Board Chair
Yeah.
recommended against, but yeah, it was substantially less than the amount. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion not to exercise our option to purchase? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
4 to 1? Is that what it was?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. And let's see, next, discussion and possible vote to approve the special town meeting warrant in the whole.
I'll make a motion to approve the special town meeting warrant that consists of Articles 1 and 2.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, next, so we are back to discussion and possible vote on warrant article review for the April 7th, 2026 annual town meeting. The first item is Article 2, free cash. Mr. Cannon?
Sure. If you will, Mr. Chairman, in your packet, there is the annual town meeting with Article 2. You will see a change in here, and this came out of our joint meeting with the moderator, town clerk, finance director, chairman. The vice chair was not able to attend, but we did move the $400,000 from free cash that you saw transferred over to the North Carver Water District. That is now out, well, it was outlined before also in Article 6. The group did feel it was a redundancy and it was confusing to the average voter that we would actually be giving the North Carver Water District $800,000. So the amount of funding doesn't change, it's just the placement where it is in the warrant. So you'll see before that, Article 2 was a total of $617,500, and now it's been reduced down to the $217,500. I'm happy to go over those.
All right. Have we previously taken a motion to put Article 2 on the warrant?
I think so.
I think we had.
Yes.
We have. Okay.
Recommended it too.
All right. Is there a motion? I'm sorry, we did recommend it? Yep. So this is
So
a-
I did a revote just because we did.
Okay, so you'd like to
Yeah,
recommend?
like,
We did, it was 4 to 1.
Yeah, that,
yeah.
So I'll have to
That's
make a motion to reconsider Article
Yeah.
2?
yeah. We have a motion to reconsider Article 2. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
No.
Well, we,
This is putting it on?
Putting on.
Yeah.
no, this is to
No, this
forward,
is
right?
to
We already
recommend
put it-
Article 2.
To recommend it.
To recommend vote for it, I have questions. I
Yes.
didn't even offer the question component. My question. Do you have the grid that talks about free cash and where it's all being allocated? Because we have the 400, right? But the 250 that we just did in special, is that somewhere part of this year's free cash
Yes,
allocation?
it is. Yes, it is. You're not going to see it on the FY27 spreadsheet because it wasn't FY20, it wasn't for FY27, but it is part of that original 2+ million.
So if you had
number.
the second sheet for free cash for 2026 special, it would just have one line item on it? the
That's
250?
correct.
Okay.
I can send that to you. I mean, I have it, it's on the
Yeah.
previous sheet that I sent for that balanced budget. I can give you another one.
If you can. My reservation again, as it was before, I see operating expenses on here, so even though they're called one time, so.
Since it's changed, why don't we take a new vote to put Article 2 on the warrant, just to be...
So I made a motion to reconsider it
Right.
so that we could take a vote, so we have to vote on that
And
first.
we all
right?
voted, that was in favor.
We
So-
didn't vote on that yet, did we?
I think we did.
I don't believe we have.
No,
All
we
right.
didn't.
Well, I thought we did.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah.
Opposed.
And now I'll make a motion to recommend the...
Well, let's take a vote to put, since it's a new article, put Article 2 back on the warrant.
All right,
just to-
so I'll make a motion that we...
I'm confused on all these, I'm confused now. We're taking the
Since
vote,
Article 2 has changed, we're going to take another vote to put
this
Article
is
2
to
on the
approve,
warrant.
No, to put it on the
No,
warrant.
just to put
as
the
amended.
new article.
put it on the warrant, got it.
Yes.
The last
I'll make-
one's to reconsider to change it.
All right, so I'll make a motion to put Article 2 as modified or updated on the warrant.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. All right, is there a motion to recommend?
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 2, use of free cash in the amount of $217,500.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Opposed. 4 to 1. Thank you. Let's see. Article 6, which is the enterprise fund for the North Carver Water District.
So I'll make a motion to reconsider Article 6.
Well,
I
Since we already
don't think
voted.
we need to.
I
Did we
don't,
vote on it already? And you modified it.
I don't think we did, no. At the
I
last,
think it was always
meeting,
there.
Ms. Praval said she might have some new information coming, so I don't think we actually took a vote to
No, I don't
recommend or
believe you
not
take a vote.
recommend
It's not
Article
something-
6.
Or put it on
Am
the
I
warrant.
correct, Ms. Weston?
I believe that 400,000 was already in
Right.
Article 6, so Article 6 did not change.
Right. So we-
Only
we-
the free cash
Well,
article.
I think at the
Sorry,
last
it had to
meeting,
change because now they have to specify they're taking it from free cash. That wasn't there before. So that was the change to the article now, so that they were taking the free cash in the previous article. Now in this article, they've modified it to say they want to use it from free cash. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair, for enterprise funds, you show all of your revenue sources, so when you're looking at the revenue source, the 400 was already in there, it just wasn't part of the original vote because it was in the previous article. So this
No.
article is just including it within the vote, but it still shows your revenue sources and your expenses of the 650.
if you would like an updated vote to put Article 6 on the warrant, I have no issue with it.
All right.
Would you like to make such a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we reconsider Article 6.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Is there a motion to put Article 6 as reconfigured on the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. All right, is there a motion to recommend Article 6?
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 6.
Second that.
Discussion?
Yes, I mean, I brought this up last time, I know people have gone through the numbers, but I can't wrap myself around the 650 for 3 years in a row, especially since we just had to do an adjustment to last year's numbers. So I think it should be higher, but that's just my opinion.
Yes.
My question would be if we were to make it higher, which I also agree it potentially should be, because, you know, as you mentioned, it's, as Mr. Carter mentioned, it has been level funded for a number of years. Costs do go up, and we may potentially run a shortfall, but the issue would be where would that money come from?
That's my concern as well.
Through you, Ms. Chair, I went back, and the only way we could increase this budget would be increasing the projections that I have for user fees. As I was looking at the bills, the water consumption for 25 and 26, it was just a lot of work in terms of trying to figure out what that percent and the amount looked like compared to what we increased the rates by. And I just didn't feel like I had enough time to be able to come up with a number. I felt comfortable in knowing that, you know, what the differences were and the variance between this rate change. And so I didn't recommend increasing user fee without having substantial information to back up why I'm increasing it.
Okay.
Yes.
Would we be able to potentially up the new growth by $50,000 and use some new growth money?
I would prefer not to increase new growth. I know that we increase new growth to help balance the budget for this one-time line item, but I just don't think that would be fiscally responsible for us to just increase the new growth to cover other expenses within the budget. But that was a, you know, one-time, but I would not recommend that. I would wait and see where we are at the end of the year, and if there's any additional funds in the North Carver Water District that roll into retained earnings, that the retained earnings are then reappropriated to fund any
Is this
additional
something that you think we might have, should we have a fall town meeting, which it seems most likely that we're going to have, would you have some more information at that time that we might be able to do a supplemental appropriation or something
If
like
we
that?
had if we have a fall town meeting and our budgets are closed, we'll say at the end of FY '26, they didn't spend everything, then those funds, once approved, certified by Department of Revenue, they'll go through retained earnings, and then you can reappropriate them for FY '27.
Okay.
Another option is also, you know, looking at increasing the user fees. That would be for the next fiscal year.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Is there a motion to recommend Article 6? Well, I think we already took a motion.
They already took the motion
Already
to
took a motion
recommend.
and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
3 to 1? Okay.
3 to 1.
Thank you. Let's see. Article 7, the capital improvement budget.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, there's been a change in the article numbers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I have
apologize
Article 7 as the supplemental town health insurance
for
budget.
that. Correct, that is Article 7.
Okay, so which article is the capital improvement? Is that Article 8?
That's Article 8.
Okay, so that's what we want to discuss, Article 8. Article 8, the capital improvement budget. Ms. Provell.
Article 8, capital.
Through you, Mr. Chair, this is Article 8 yesterday on the spreadsheet. If you look, there were department requests originally in February 11th, 2026, and the total was, the original department request became $3,418,175. The department's men on February 11th, and just due to the amount of funding we had available, we had original $1,588,175. I provided some recommendations on March 10th on projects after working with the departments, and that was also the $1,588,175. We met with the capital committee on, March 11th, and the capital committee voted a decrease of $1,236,750 for the capital projects. And just yesterday, there was another vote from the capital committee of increasing that to $1,331,750. And you can see in the last column prior to the notes, it shows the different projects that we're looking to fund. For these projects, we would be looking for an authorization of $1,261,750, and EMS will be paying $70,000 from the ambulance receipts reserved for appropriation for a total of $1,331,750 for capital projects for FY27.
All right, and for the folks at home, let me just read off what we would be funding. So, replacement of existing Carver Fire Department personnel protective equipment in the amount of $800,000. Police cruiser replacements, 2 frontline cruisers, the amount of $75,000. Live scan fingerprint device, the amount of $30,000. Replacement of a 2005 one-ton groundskeeper's dump truck with plow for $95,000. DEP mandated municipal well, $110,000. A middle high school athletic replacement plan, weight room renovation for $80,000. And finally, 71 passenger bus for $141,750,000 for a total of $1,331,750. Is that correct, Ms. Provell?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I see there was an amount that was missing. Do you mind if I recalculate that number? The
please do.
$70,000 for ambulance.
And also, one other thing I just want to bring your attention, when you said the police cruisers,
yes,
you said 2, they actually knocked it down from 2 to 1, so it went from 150.
Okay. So it's one police cruiser.
Correct.
One police
Okay.
cruiser, yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Just want to make sure we have it correct.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. I thought that was a pretty good deal for 2 police.
Yeah,
And don't we have to adjust the the totals on Article 8? They don't really align.
1,401,750.
So the new numbers, should we double check this one?
1,401,750.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out what the number is.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
1,401,750
So
total capital.
the projects that we're requesting to be authorized is $1,331,750,
Yep.
$70,000 for the EMS ambulance for a total of $1,401,750.
The article stated correctly? It's
No.
different than the spreadsheet.
Well, the one I'm looking at, unless it's not, it's everybody else's, it starts off Article 8 and it goes back to the 1,000,002 that we had last night in this first paragraph. But then it, yeah,
And the warrants that you have in front of it?
yeah, this one.
Which one do you have?
I thought this was the one that was handed to me tonight with the special, but
The updated one on your desk tonight, and that has the 1,401,750 in it.
Maybe missing the updated one.
So the 1,331,750 should be the authorization and then the 70,000 is the transfer.
From the receipt.
Yep.
1,401,750.
Yeah, for a total of $1,401,750. The sheet that I passed out didn't
It's
include the
141,750,
70,000.
yep.
Okay. Is there a motion to put Article 8 on the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
To put it on the warrant.
Just put it on the warrant, okay.
Just to put it on the warrant.
Misfire, all right.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Is there a motion to recommend Article 8?
So before I recommend it, I just want to make sure the wording is correct. So it does start out to see if we'll appropriate $1,331,750 for the capital projects and transfer $70,000. So that's the wording in the intro. And we are sure that the $1,331,750 is all the items listed in the warrant. And then there's a proposed motion to move the total sum of $1,401,750 for the warrant to include the transfer of the $70,000 and authorization to borrow the $1,331,750. So the wording seems to be appropriate.
That's correct.
All right, then I'll make a motion just for discussion that we recommend the article.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Yeah,
Mr.
just,
Carver.
I'm on the capital committee, and my opinion was that with obviously the issues with no capital monies and borrowing for capital just didn't sit right. So I was looking at life safety, so the 800,000 and the 110 is what I reviewed, and that debt would replace the debt coming off of $200,000. But again, it was 3-1, so the majority of the capital committee voted for it. Okay.
Mr. Ryan.
So just to double check, the sheet that was handed out that said the FY27 capital request that has a summary of the amounts, you're saying that at the bottom is incorrect?
Right, I didn't increase it with the
Okay.
70,000 for the ambulance, so that should have been the $1,401,750.
Okay, thank you.
And the school portion would have been $1,331,750.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Anyone? All right, we have a motion and a second to recommend Article 8. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Opposed. 4-1. All right. Before we move forward on the health insurance budget, because that could be a healthy discussion. I think we have some folks here to talk on Article 11, which is the disposition of property off South Main Street. Anyone have an issue if we take that out of order so we can let those folks go home? All right. Sir, why don't you come on up and we'll talk about Article 11, okay?
And just for clarity, in the warrant, it ended up as Article 12 in the new warrant.
Okay, I'm going by the agenda here.
Sorry.
That I see. That's all right. I appreciate you calling my attention to that. So, Article 12, which is the disposition of property off South Main Street, and I'll just read the informational summary. The town is seeking to exchange a portion of its land, which resides in the parking lot of the Union Society Church, with land owned by the Carver Union Society. This will create clear property lines as well as allow the town to expand Union Cemetery. This exchange is intended to be mutually beneficial, improving land use efficiency for both the church and the town, and the parcels are shown in Appendix E. I know there were some issues back and forth on this. Mr. Cannon, can you update us on where we are?
So we've had many conversations with the applicant here, if you will, about this parcel and the parcel of land in question. And particularly the ownership of the land, to make sure that was, we were swapping land with the true owner of the land. Town council has agreed that they do have the right to the land. They have the proper deed of the land. That was, if you will, not really in question. What had happened before is the applicant came forward with a CPC grant, and as part of that grant, there was a deed restriction put on it, and that was for the incorporation of the land, and that incorporation is still in question. It hasn't been clarified yet. The applicant can give us an update on that, where they stand, and the trials have been through to get to that. But that is a separate issue. Town council is comfortable with the land swap moving forward.
All right. Sir? If you could just introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Welcome. Robert Andrews. I'm the president of the Union Society.
Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so where are you folks at with this whole process?
So I'll try to be brief here, but we created a bit of a problem last summer, not realizing we were, of course. The original corporation was put in place in 1909, so it's been there a while. And the requirements to report to the Secretary of State annually is really a new law, relatively speaking. It started in the 1960s, really took hold during the 1970s. And it's safe to say no one in the Union Society was aware of this then or now. We are now. But we began to question our incorporation last summer. We did an online search, did some research as best we were able to. We didn't find ourselves. We did some discussion with the Secretary of State's office. And their recommendation was really to establish a new corporation. We innocently didn't appreciate the significance of that. But we did it, and it was approved. And that brings us to the late summer, early fall timeframe when we did the application for the grant. And we used our new name for that grant. That was identified by town council as an issue. You've got an old company, now you've got a new company, we don't understand. Still to that point, we thought that was probably a fairly simple clerical thing with an appropriate attorney. And when we got an appropriate attorney, we realized it wasn't. What we should have done probably is hired an attorney in the first place. The deed was never in question. What was in question was our health, shall we say, from the Secretary of State's standpoint. Our corporation had lapsed. They had it, they found it in physical records, loaded it to their online database. And this is really the work of the attorney that we hired. And based on their recommendation, how do we get the Secretary of State happy with us currently and compliant with all laws? The recommendation was to put together at least 10 years of record that demonstrates we were doing, in fact, what we were chartered to do in the beginning. So we did all of that. It was a pretty copious amount. That has been submitted, reviewed, accepted, and loaded to the original company name. And we've now done, at the same time, a restatement of our charter of organization. That has been reviewed, accepted, and is in queue for posting. And following that, we will get a certificate of legal existence and in good standing. At that point, we are in a perfect state of good health with the Secretary of State's office, and we'll make sure that we keep it that way going forward. Now, the question I think that exists here is now we have two companies, and we've spoken to our attorney about how we deal with that going forward. He wanted to deal with the things burning. Let's get that straightened out, but clearly we don't need two companies. We don't want two companies. So one will be disillusioned, I believe is the term, and it'll likely be the new one we created last year. Although he points out there's advantages to the old company selling to the new, and we'll get into all of that when the time comes, which is not too far. Okay. But in terms of, we feel badly that this now impacts you. We're happy to take any recommendation you may have or council may have in terms of how you would like to see this resolved. And we'll present that to our attorney. But clearly, one company will survive and one will go away. And I think it's cleaner, it appears to me, if the old company continues. But as he pointed out, there's advantages both ways. And if you folks have a view of that, we certainly would take that under strong consideration.
Okay, and just before we begin our discussions, just to reiterate, Mr. Cannon, you've had discussions with council, and he feels comfortable that we can move forward with where things are, correct?
Correct. With the land swap, he feels comfortable moving forward.
Okay, so before we start our discussions, is there a motion to put Article 12 on the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So I think I'm just trying to remember back, but since the town of Carver had granted funds, the ultimate goal here was there was going to be a deed restriction that had to be placed so that you couldn't turn the property into a mall or something like that after the town had already. So I think we were on the path of getting the deed restriction just to protect the town providing the funds. And then we ran into this snag, I guess, so are we still, is that still a goal to get the deed restriction on there? Because I think that's ultimately what we were trying to do. And do we have any timeline of when that might happen?
We don't.
Well, Mr. Ryan, so it's a historic preservation deed restriction. That's required by the Community Preservation Act. So that's under the Community Preservation Committee's jurisdiction, and they do that as a part of their normal process.
I believe we signed that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very normal thing. They deal with that.
And
It's not on
We've done it
us.
before, because I think this is the third time in my awareness that we've received CPA funding. In fact, it is the
Yeah,
third.
I mean, that's not our jurisdiction.
If I could, Ms. Hewens, I believe it was a little bit of belts and suspenders. I believe it was also in the grant agreement that the select board signed with the applicant, so
Correct.
it's a dual.
Right, but I mean, the preservation restriction itself is a CPC matter, so.
Yeah.
But the board was concerned about that.
Yes, we were.
Right, correct.
Okay, Mr. Ryan, did that answer your question?
Partially, but sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Again, so we have a motion and a second to put Article 12 on the warrant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous to put Article 12 on the warrant. Okay, as far as recommending Article 12, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Mr. Andrews. Appreciate it.
And to you, Mr. Chair, it's listed as Article 11 on the agenda, but that's least matter, right?
Yeah, evidently it's been changed to Article 12 on the, yes. That was just a typo. All right. So we're back to, we have a few typos here. So we're back to Article 7, listed on the agenda as Article 8, which is the FY 2026 Supplemental Town Health Insurance Budget and update on the plan to replenish the stabilization fund. Ms. Parral will welcome you back. Thank you for indulging us, so we can let that gentleman go home.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. So as I was looking at, us utilizing money out of the stabilization fund to cover this health care, the health insurance deficit, my goal is to adhere by our financial policies. So we have our pilot revenue estimates. So, next year we have pilot revenue that's going to be coming in. My projection in FY20 for FY27 was $1.6 million. We usually bring in about 1.8, 1.9, and so my recommendation would be, as we put together the revenue projections for FY28, $1 million comes right off of the pilot revenue, goes into the stabilization fund. So as we start looking at balancing our budget, that entire amount comes off up front, and then that would give the select board and the town the balance to be allocated into the different various funds, either, OPEB, capital debt stabilization, and the other stabilization funds that were originally discussed as part of the financial policies. And that at least will adhere to what we have already discussed. We don't use the pilot money to cover balancing the operating budget. So I think that's something that we just need to stick to and just adhere to what we've already described within our policy. So that would be my recommendation in terms of replenishing that fund.
All right, thank you. So as you will all see, there are 3 different motions contained in Article 7. So what we'll do is we'll have a motion to put Article 7 on the warrant, and then we'll have 3 different votes on whether to recommend or not the different motions. So first, is there a motion to put Article 7 on the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. So, Mr. Cannon, through you, or to you, Ms. Proval, I just have to ask one more time. What, instead of the $4 million, what if we just put $3 million aside and didn't take this money out of the stabilization fund? What would be the ramifications of that? I'm very nervous about taking $1 million out of the stabilization fund.
So this is a deficit in our existing FY26 healthcare line. That deficit is projected to be $4 million, so we want to make sure we can cover that. That comes from our insurance agent, who does their best projection for a June 30th, 2026 deficit of $4 million. I feel obligated to bring to the board a plan to offset that $4 million.
If I could just ask, so of this $4 million that we're looking to appropriate, how much of that? Okay. Mr. Ryan.
So to follow on, would potentially, if we only had $3 million, could that disrupt health insurance or health care for town employees if we did not make up the deficit and did not have sufficient funds? Would it disrupt the health coverage?
Correct. It is currently being, healthcare is being disrupted of our employees right now. We are lagging behind in our bills. We need this to not only pay the bills going into April, May, and June, but there are currently a deficit right now with the Gateway Health Group that we need to make sure we make up, and employees' health care is being affected right now.
So this $4 million and change is part of the Gateway $7 million and change deficit, right?
Correct. The Gateway Group has a approximately $7 million deficit. We're 55% of that.
So what methods do we have in place to make sure that the money we appropriate here only goes to pay Carver's portion of the deficit and doesn't somehow get applied to the Gateway deficit in general, so it decreases other towns' deficits?
Correct, and that will be a task for our attorneys to make sure that as we move forward, because we will, even if it is appropriated, we will not authorize payment to the Gateway Health Group until we have assurance that the old Rochester group is paying their deficit also, and the town of Lakeville. So the 3 of us have to have an agreement to all make the funds together.
So once this money is appropriated, this money stays with the town of Carver. It doesn't in any way become the property of Gateway. It stays with the town of Carver, and someone from the town of Carver, Ms. Proval, maybe it would be you, would review each bill as they come in and make sure it's paying a town of Carver bill and not in some way a Gateway deficit?
It is my understanding that the Gateway deficit is a $7 million shared deficit, right? So we all share it's a joint purchasing agreement. The 3 of us all share the deficit together. That total deficit is $7 million. The town of Carver is approximately 55% of the group. Of the claims, we may be 60% of the claims, we might be 50% of the claims, but the amount we pay in every single month, we equate to 55% of the group, so we have 55% of the deficit.
Do we know if either ORR or Lakeville have appropriated any money or have any articles on their town meetings to appropriate any money to pay their share as a deficit?
I am told that the Old Rochester Regional School District does have funding available. Now, what avenue they take to do that, they may go back to the towns to look for additional funding or alternative funding, but they do have a source of funding. The town of Lakeville, I have not heard about how they plan on funding. The only conversation I had with the town administrator was about a budget transfer at the end of his fiscal year, whether or not he would do that now. I didn't get confirmation of that.
Mr. Ryan.
I just wanted to clarify something, my understanding. So if all the towns put their money together, we don't control the funds, they actually go into a pool. So once they go into the gateway pool, Carver can't control how that money gets spent once we've released it to the pool. Is that correct?
That is correct. Once it goes into the Gateway Health Group, the Gateway Health Group makes the payment. And again, that's why we need the assurance that Old Rochester and Lakeville are also paying into that.
And to follow on, we can't guarantee that that $4 million will go to Carver, employees.
Correct.
All we can guarantee is that all the towns have put in their money before we put money into the pool to make up the
Right,
deficit.
because again, it's a joint pool of all the claims.
Okay, so I feel like we're getting two different answers here. So do we know, how do we control that our money doesn't go into the pool until we know that the other towns have contributed their shares of the pool?
Again, I haven't worked this out with our attorneys. I would have to say we have to have a separate account where all three are submitting into this one account, and then that one account will go over to the Gateway Group. Because we should not send our money over to the Gateway Group until we have assurance that Old Rochester and Lakeville are also paying it.
Well, that's my concern, and there's nothing anywhere in this motion, once we if we were to approve these three motions, that would somehow compel us to transfer this money to the Gateway Group.
There is nothing in this motion or in this article that requires you to make that payment to the Gateway Group.
Okay.
This is just a set aside.
This is authorizing the money to be in the FY26 health insurance line.
In our own budget.
In our own budget.
In our own budget.
But there's nothing about putting it to Gateway. That's all under.
Okay.
And I can tell you, the attorneys are having discussions right now about breaking out the three deficits, if you will, into separate buckets, so that we can pay them individually.
Ms. Burrell, just hang on one second, okay? So, and I understand the attorneys are having discussions, and I appreciate that. But right now, today, if we have money in a healthcare budget and a bill comes into Gateway, how do we handle this? Who reviews that payment before Carver releases money to Gateway?
That's our insurance broker, Hilden Group, H-I-L-D. They review the bills.
So no one from the town of Carver reviews the bill?
No.
Shouldn't someone from the town of Carver be reviewing the bill?
We rely on our consultant to do that for us.
Well, I would feel more comfortable if we were moving $4 million into a fund, if we had someone from the town looking that over as well. That's just my own personal
I can tell you
opinion.
again, if the attorneys do come up with a settlement, an agreement between the three entities to separate out those bills, then we'll have that assurance because we'll have our own separate account.
What if they don't come to an agreement?
Then we will continue to work with them till we can pay off these bills because
Our employees need health insurance.
I understand. I just am concerned about money going into the abyss. That's all. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter.
I share your concern. The other thing I'm concerned about is looking at the whole, the process, number one. But looking at the whole $4 million, right? If everything worked perfectly and you budgeted $1 million for health insurance and all the claims came in at $1 million for health insurance, we have a great world, there's no increase next year, everything matches out, and that $1 million is paid 75% by the town/taxpayer and 25% by the employee. Here we've got $4 million that's owed, and if they're all valid claims, really 25% is the responsibility of the employee and 75% is the responsibility of the town. So what is your plan to recoup $1 million, I guess, from artificially low insurance estimates and claims over the past X number of years to make that whole?
right now we do not have a plan to recoup that $1 million from the employees.
Ms. Proval, I know you've been waiting for a while.
No, that's okay. I'm retracting my hand that I had up.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyone else?
Well, I would just like to comment that I think we need to do this because our employees need health insurance. So we'll figure it out. We'll get a plan.
I think everyone here agrees that
we have to
our
do
employees
something, right?
need health insurance. That's not, I think or at least my bigger concern is making sure we don't
pay for other towns' employees.
I want to provide the Carver employees with health insurance, and I care about Lakeville and ORR as well, but it's not my job to pay for their insurance. And that's my concern.
I also think Mr. Cannon has said very clearly that we're not going to be paying theirs. It's going to go into a separate.
We don't have anyone from Carver reviewing the bills right now.
Should that language be in the
But
ARPA?
we never have. We never have.
That's
Correct.
why
We
that's
never
why we're-
have in the 20 years that I know of.
But we never had a $4 million deficit
That's
either.
why we're in this
It's
problem.
whoever manages.
No, it's not actually why we're in it.
Again, obviously, I mean, we all know that we need to provide health insurance for our employees. That's not the issue here. The issue is, I'm concerned that we just protect, if we appropriate this money, that we protect it, then it goes to Carver. That's all. Mr. Ryan.
So to that point, I mean, we would be voting to put it into an account that's controlled by the town of Carver, which is our, health insurance budget account. So it's going to be there. Now, whoever manages that, I don't know that we can dictate in this article, but the intent of that is whoever's managing that is going to make sure that only, town of Carver employees benefit from
Yeah,
the money to cover.
That's our town money manager right there, Ms. Provall.
But didn't you
Through
say,
you, Mr. Chair.
to you, Ms. Proval, Mr. Cannon, whoever can answer the question, didn't you say earlier that that's not the way it is right now, that we have an insurance broker that's looking over these bills, and not
claims.
someone from the
claims.
town of Carver?
But the money goes into our health care line, right? The bills are reviewed by our insurance broker, right? We pay on a monthly basis, I can tell you right now, we actually don't pay claim per claim.
Okay.
We pay on a monthly basis. On the first of every month, we send a check over to the Gateway Health Group.
But
That's how the bill is
that
paid.
goes to pay gateway claims, not necessarily town of
Correct.
Carver claims. It goes to pay gateway claims for the group.
For the group.
Correct.
Correct. Now, again, we don't have to make that payment until we have assurance, right, that the $7 million, that we're paying only a portion of the $7 million deficit.
Well, I think we need to put a process in place that we can ensure that we're just paying our share and not
Well, I think
not
Ms.
everybody's share.
Provall is our assurance.
So,
Well, she really can't be, right, because you have HIPAA laws. We can't turn around and give someone's bill to someone in town Carver to review and say
Right,
that heart
can't do that.
surgery is
Right.
valid. We can't have somebody at town hall do it.
Right. Right. Ms. Proval.
through you, so any money that leaves the town has to be approved by myself and through the select board as we pay invoices. And like our town manager, I'm forgetting your name, Mr. Cannon, was saying that, if the claims aren't paid, then the employees will not be able to go to the doctors, and they won't be able to be seen. So having the claims paid, and I understand your concern, as is a concern of mine, is that if we are paying claims, whether they're prior claims and as part of the pool, how do we know that the claims that we're paying are strictly for Carver employees? And it doesn't cover Carver employees, other employees, or maybe they had prior claims. From my perspective, Gateway is in a cash flow issue, in terms of not having enough cash to be able to pay their bills. So as we're paying the claims, which is our portion, I can't answer how do we evaluate that. What I can do is I can work with our town treasurer. We do have information in terms of bills that come in that is processed through another vendor, but I can look at that in more detail.
Yeah.
But I just want to assure the select board that, nothing's going to go out of the door in terms of cash.
I just
unless
want
it's
to be
approved by us.
sure, I'm not sure that, maybe I didn't make my concern exactly clear. I understand that when a bill comes in for health insurance, we can't look at the individual bill. I understand the HIPAA laws and all that. My concern is that we have a $7 million and change budget deficit for the three towns of Gateway, ORR, Lakeville, and the town of Carver. And I want to be clear and make sure that Carver, if we appropriate our share of the deficit, that Lakeville and ORR also fund their share of the deficit. Because if they don't, we could be left paying a larger share of somebody else's deficit. That's my concern. It's not individual healthcare bills. It's that I want to make sure that everybody's paying their share of the deficit.
So to that point, we can't look at individual claims, but can't we require that we get the total of Carver's outstanding claims monthly before we provide money? Can't we say just for the town of Carver, what's our total, and then provide the monthly funding knowing that we're paying towards outstanding claim dollars for Carver? Can we ask that question?
I don't have an answer to that, Dan. I don't know if that would, need an attorney to be able to, look at this information, to be able to provide that level. I don't have an answer for that. Because that's a very valid question. Out of the $7 million that they're short, how, even though our portion based off our contract is, based off a percentage, but what do those claims really make up? Are all, the percentage of the claims all, mainly for Carver, or is that just our
Right,
portion? that we have
and
to
just
pay?
to be
I don't
clear, the 7 million is projected to be short. It's not short right now. There's no, we're not in, we don't owe $7 million, but we're projecting by the end of the fiscal year, we're going to be short $7 million or $4 million for Carver, which goes back to the point, we probably should require that we get a monthly report as to what's the outstanding claim totals for Carver. At least that might help to, the chair's question about how do we control this so that we're not just putting it into a pool that's paying for other towns' claims. But I think we need to put some level of controls in there so we're assured that the money that we're paying is going to Carver employees.
You could be grossing it up, everything together, and then it's like, okay, whose share is real? Whose share?
And just one final statement on this, I guess. I understand why we need to move this money. And certainly, we need to make sure, above all else, that our employees have health insurance. When I see us taking over $1 million out of our stabilization fund to fund this deficit, I think we need to be over and above when we triple check everything to make sure that we are somehow not using money from our stabilization fund to pay the town of Lakeville's healthcare deficit.
I understand the concern, without a doubt. That concern is shared even by the Gateway Board. The other towns share that concern also.
Okay. All right. Yes, Mr.
In the shortages between now and the end of this fiscal year, right? So between now and June, so we couldn't wait for another town meeting. That was going to be my question, to deal with the not having to take from the stabilization. So if we'd said we weren't going to do that and we still run short, we'd have to call another town meeting to make that up, and we probably wouldn't have enough time, because if we're looking at a fall town meeting, it's probably too late at that point, I think.
What? Correct. But to your point, why? Why wouldn't we not put this $4 million in and wait for a special town meeting to apportion now and apportion then? We're going to have one, right? All likelihood.
Not till the fall, though. And
Okay.
we're going to run out of money by the end.
How do we know? These are full of estimates that we don't know what the actuals are.
Ms. Pravala, Mr. Cannon, can either of you answer that Mr. Carter's question?
The question about...
The question is, why fund it all now? Because the $7 million has a certain amount of actuals in it and a lot of projections into that number. I forget what the schedule said, but I'm remembering a lot of it is projection. So why do the whole thing now versus a portion now and a portion in the fall?
Well, right now, what we're trying to do is provide health care for our employees from now to June 30th. Those bills are now currently sitting there unpaid. We have employees who are hearing from providers that they will no longer provide services to them, right? That is happening now. There's also concern that HPI will discontinue service to the town of Carver because we are not paying, or HPI will discontinue service, to the Gateway Health Group because the Gateway Health Group is not paying their bills.
Mr. Ryan.
I think I kind of half answered my question too. So of all these motions, the only funds we'll have available right now to the end of this year would be motion 2 and motion 3, because that's $2.5 million. We're not going to have access to the raise and appropriate funds till after
July
June,
1st.
till July 1st. So we definitely will need that $1.5 million probably going into fiscal year 27. So those two funds alone, the $2.5 million are definitely going to be needed. It's a shame to have to take it from stabilization, but I don't see any other way, because we need those now to pay the bills to the end of this fiscal year.
The only other thing I can say to Mr. Connor's point, right, and they are projections, so coming up to June 30th, right, 2026, there are projections. If the deficit isn't $7 million and we aren't required to pay $4 million, let's say it's $3.5 million, whatever, that $500,000 would come back to us as free cash, or I'd have to ask Ms. Pravala if we could actually put it directly back into or never take it out of the stabilization fund, right? I think that'd be the correct way to do it. So again, if your concern is that it is actually, the projection is not going to come true, right? You know, we're not gonna be giving them the $4 million and asking them for our money back. We're only gonna pay what the deficit is, what our portion of the deficit is.
Well, I've got two concerns. That is, you haven't really given me a plan to recoup the $1 million. That really isn't the taxpayer's responsibility.
Correct. I don't have a plan right now to recoup that from the employees.
Ms. Preval, is there a sequence where the money gets taken from first in these
Yes.
three motions?
Yes, there is. So for the free cash, in order to pay money in FY '26, the only funds we can use are free cash and stabilization, because the other funds, raise and appropriate, are not available until July 1st. So if we have bills for services through June 30th, we need to have funds appropriate and available to pay them.
Right, but what I mean is, in the money that we would have available in
Yeah.
FY '26, does the money come from free cash first? Or, I mean, does the money come from raising the free cash? Or does the money come from?
It comes from free cash and it comes from stabilization. We'll say the bills come in, I do a transfer.
Okay,
So the
but
transfer.
where do you pay them first? From free cash or from
It's
stabilization?
not, it's just a source of revenue. So I do a transfer. So I'll be transferring on the accounting side, I do a transfer from the stabilization fund into our general fund. It's a transfer. The revenue moves from one account into another account, and the revenue just stays there to offset those expenses.
I think the question that we're trying to all
Yeah.
ask is that, can we start to use the 1,465,000, can we just start using that first, and then only transfer from the stabilization as needed? Do we do the whole amount, or can we just pull what we need?
You can't, once you have a vote, I have to transfer
it
the
all
amount
has
that
to go.
that you
All right.
requested. The only thing that you could do, if you said, I don't want to transfer anything from stabilization, I want to wait to see what happens, you would then be using the money for free cash. Whatever money we have from free cash would cover whatever claims we have. Maybe it covers, a portion of, what we need to pay in June, but then you would need to go back to town meeting once everything is settled to request additional funds.
Okay.
Which there's another option you could do. You just have another special town meeting, you'd have to request those funds.
Well, I think we've heard a lot on this. Is there any?
I'll make a motion
I have a-
to...
Yeah. All right,
So I just have a question. So it says, sorry, motion one is for supplement the fiscal year 2027 health care budget, health insurance budget. So will this help pay for any bills that are incurred during fiscal '26?
Correct, so the bills coming out of fiscal year '26 in June of '26 will not be billed until the fiscal year '27. It's the lag
Okay.
behind of the bill, so yes, we anticipate being able to pay.
Okay, and how we came up with this number is we took what everybody pays for their insurance on their check, per check. And so that's what comes in.
Correct.
And then what we think are the claims, that's what this 4 million or 7 million overall for all three towns.
So far for the year, the town pays in the 75% to health insurance,
Yep.
employees pay in the 25%.
Yep.
What we had allocated for the year has already been surpassed. Right now, I believe we owe $1.2 million of claims, and then there is a projection from now until June 30th for more claims coming in. So we've already exceeded what we paid in for the year.
Okay. So, okay. Because Daniel and Mark had me thinking with this whole 75-25, that there's a number out there that we have, we share the good times and the bad times. How do we, again, we have to figure out a way that 25% come from the
But not to,
insurance.
sorry, not to add insult to injury, though, we're gonna have another problem coming up with the 2027 health insurance
correct.
budget, so there's no money to be found.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that the board recommend motion one, that the town move the $1,510,295 as a raise and appropriate to supplement the fiscal year 2027 health insurance budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on motion one?
So just so I'm clear, though, we've got open-ended questions that we haven't resolved yet with regards to making sure that only Carver employees get paid, how we're gonna allocate the 25%. There's a lot of open issues regarding to this whole topic.
There are. There are, and I think we have to rely on our our financial team, Ms. Braval and the town administrator. I think, unfortunately, until we can get some help from our attorneys.
And I do not have an answer about recouping the 25% from the employees. That question has been asked, we've thought about it.
When will you have an answer?
I don't have an answer.
So your plan is not to charge?
Right now, the plan is, I don't have an answer for that one, John.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on motion 1. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Is that 4 to 1? Is that what that is?
4 to 1, yeah. Okay, now I'll make a motion that the Select Board recommend, motion number 2, that we transfer the sum of $1,465,785 from free cash to supplement the health insurance budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on motion 2? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
4 to 1. And just before you move on to motion 3, I just want to point out to everybody that motion 1 and motion 2 both require majority votes at town meeting. Motion 3 requires a 2/3 vote because it is a transfer from the stabilization fund.
Correct.
Let's have a quick question before you go on. So FinCom voted 3 to 1 on motion 1, but 2 and 3 they didn't vote on?
Yeah, Mr.
We'll have to check the minutes on that. I thought.
I think the issue is probably that there was only one motion at the time, and did you split it into 3, or did they have the 3 available to them to vote
I think the 3 have been
on?
out there for a while.
I think they had the 3 available. That's why we'll have to check the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they voted on the whole article as one. Maybe they didn't break down.
I don't
Maybe.
recall. I have to, again, I have to
Okay.
check. I'll have to check the minutes.
Can you send an email out to the board with the results of that?
So I'll make a motion that the Select Board recommend motion 3, which is to transfer $1,023,920 from the stabilization fund to the health insurance budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on motion 3. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Is that 4 to 1?
Yep, 4 to 1.
Mr. Hoffman, was that 4 to 1? Okay. Okay.
That one.
Moving right along. Article 5, the fiscal year 2027 town budget. Mr. Cannon.
This is one we are looking for a reconsideration on the town-wide budget. There has been a change here. There was an assessment came in from the Old Colony Regional School, came in higher than we had anticipated. That deficit has been made up with the increase in new growth. Ms. Praval spoke to that, and we are looking for a revote on the total amount here, and then the article.
Well, why don't we start
I'll
with the
make a motion.
reconsideration?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to reconsider Article 5.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
I'm sorry, you said Article 5? Okay,
Yeah, just the reconsideration.
Yeah, I've got questions. Why are we doing that from a standpoint of the expenses haven't changed? The only thing that changed was an increase in revenue and an increase in shared liabilities. So that's the only thing we're voting on, right?
But the total's changed in here, so it's gone up from 53 million to 54,517, so it's a different thing that we recommended previously.
It's a different budget.
Different budget.
Wait a minute, how does that work? What am I missing? If we increase revenue, we increase expenses, so you're talking about the expense component is higher.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is higher because we're using new growth as we talk to offset the difference in the Plymouth, the Old Colony increase.
All in favor of reconsidering Article 5?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Is there a motion to put the reconsidered Article 5 on the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Okay. Is there a motion to recommend Article 5?
I'll make a motion that we recommend Article 5 with
Second.
the updated amount of 54,517,039.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Sure.
Mr. Carter.
I think the 27 budget is considerably off, mainly due to health insurance costs, and again, I've already voiced my concerns about the spending going on, so, yeah, I wouldn't be able to approve this budget.
Okay.
So the general fund budget stayed the same, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So So it's still 54,570,000.
It was a shared, it was the,
The Old Colony.
it was the fixed liability Appendix C
Yes.
number that
Yes.
went up. So townwide fixed liabilities, because the Old Colony assessment came in higher, so that one had to increase, which is going to be offset by the increase in new growth. And that that brought the whole amount up to 54 million.
That's the only change, correct?
That's the
Ms.
only
Paval?
change.
That's the only
Yes.
change, yeah.
There were no changes
I
to
have-
individual departments.
I have the town warrant, draft updated 3/17, draft dated 3/13, and they both have the same numbers. So when was this updated?
This was updated last week. Everyone should have received updated numbers.
So, Mr. Hoffman, you might have it from the FinCom meeting, because we had an update at the FinCom meeting when we attended, so that might be the one that you might not have been before the board here.
And I provided copies on Friday for everybody.
Yeah, because our last meeting was 3:10. We wouldn't have had a 3:13.
313 was from the FinCom meeting.
Okay, is there any further discussion on Article 5? None? Just want to double check here. None?
No.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recommend Article 5. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
I'm not sure what the vote is.
Aye.
3-2.
3-2?
3-2.
Is that what it is, to recommend?
Correct.
Ms. Ewens?
Yes,
You both
to recommend, yes.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. We have a discussion and possible vote on all articles of the town meeting warrant. So, Ms. Weston, I'll just check with you. Did we touch all the bases here? Anything we missed?
I don't believe you missed anything.
Okay. Mr. Cannon?
I don't believe you missed anything.
All right. We have discussion and possible vote to approve the town meeting, annual town meeting warrant.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion? We have a
Second.
motion. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Discussion and possible vote. Next, discussion and possible vote to amend the capital funding working group to add school personnel, school superintendent, Scott Neef, and a school committee member to be determined. This should have been included last week when we did this, and through an oversight, it wasn't.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Let's see. Next up, a discussion and possible vote to withdraw from the Gateway Health Group and for the town administrator to give notice to the Gateway Health Group prior to April 1st, 2026.
So
Mr.
moved.
Cannon? Well, okay, we have a motion,
I'll second that. Yep.
a motion and a second. Mr. Cannon?
So, as the board is aware, the Gateway Health Group is planning on dissolving June 30th, 2026. I just want to make sure that we're on record that we are going to leave the Gateway Health Group. The deadline is April 1st, 2026. If you wanted to, if we were in the best of times, we wanted to get out and move on. I just want to be on record. I want to have a record in the file, a letter in the file, saying we will be leaving the group.
Good idea. How do you notify them? Do you notify them in writing? Is there a
Yeah, I
form?
believe it's registered mail.
Okay.
I mean,
Could
it's
you
in-
do me a favor? Can you just copy the board on the letter
Sure.
that you send them?
And if I may,
Mr.
Mr.
Shields.
Cannon, I want the employees to understand that we'll be having health care with a different group.
Correct. We are moving on to a different group.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, I'm sorry, we had a motion and a second. Did we take a, I don't think we took a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Ladies, thank you for coming in this evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, the town administrator update. Look at that, Mr. Cannon, we're only 7 minutes late.
Wow. Well, I will be quick, Mr. Chairman. I don't have much to update the board. The board does always ask me about the North Carver Water District and the legislation there. We do continue to monitor that, but we haven't got past that third reading, so we hope that will happen. I did look today. That third reading happened on November 19th, and again, we haven't had any movement on this since then. On our financial software, again, I did update the board. We're having a working group meeting of the users to make sure that they are comfortable with one of the software packages we had called Munis. That hasn't happened yet, but as soon as I can, I'll update the board when that happens. And then the last thing I have is I just wanted to, I know a couple of members of the select board were there last night. We had a school committee, school staff do a budget presentation last night at the finance committee. I thought there was a very good presentation, very thorough. If anybody's interested, they could watch that on Area 58. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, great, thank you. Let's see, topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance of the meeting. There are none this evening. Select board announcements. Ms. Ewens.
Thank you. I just also wanted to add that Michelle Badger, a state representative, was at a meeting that I attended last night, and she said that any bills that are in the third reading should come out on Wednesday. If they're going to be approved, they will be out tomorrow.
I will look for
We
that.
can pick up the phone tomorrow and find out, maybe, hopefully.
Our fingers will be crossed, right?
Yes, they will be.
Right.
So-
And as always, I want to remind people to please remember Shane Gives Thanks Food Pantry. That is for everyone in need, and particularly for our veterans.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hoffman.
Nothing,
Nothing this evening?
nothing this evening.
All right, thank you. Mr. Carter.
Nothing, just wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day.
All right, Mr. Ryan.
I just want to, yesterday, the Council on Aging and the Carver Police Department put on a successful lunch at the Council on Aging. Just want to thank everybody who volunteered to make that successful. It was a good time, and they had entertainment again, so it was a fun time. So thank you to all those that made that possible.
It was a wonderful event. Connie Kelly and her crew and the police union did a great job. So I'll second that, and also wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. Our next meeting, well, we have town meeting April 7th. Our second meeting in April is April 21st, but again, I think it's almost guaranteed that we will be having some type of other meeting, date to be determined between now and then, to deal with some other health insurance issues.
Correct.
Correct?
We'll probably call a special meeting just to...
Yeah, we'll follow up on that. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a great evening.